published 7:05 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 8th of May 2018, updated 7:47 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 8th of May 2018. Les Herbiers have an annual budget of €2 million, £1.77 million. Neymar picks that up in 16 days. Yet Neymar's club, PSG, will have to get past the third-tier side on Tuesday night to complete a domestic treble. The two teams could not be more different. Champions Paris Saint-Germain have developed into the culture club, a symbol of the capital city. Their artists, the injured Neymar, Kylian Mbappé, Marco Verratti, would not look out of place at the Louvre. Les Herbiers, a third-tier side, face Paris Saint-Germain in the French Cup final on Tuesday. The Minnows play at the Massabielle Stadium, which holds just 5,000 supporters. By way of contrast, PSG play at the Parc des Princes, which can host nearly 48,000 fans. They will face the likes of Uruguay striker Edinson Cavani in the final on Tuesday evening. Les Herbiers are currently battling against relegation from the third tier of French football. They come from a town with a population of just 15,933 people, 15,000 of whom have bought tickets for the French Cup final. That is 10 times the average attendance at their Stade Massabielle home, which can hold a maximum of 5,000 fans, and reportedly the players earn around €2,500, £2,197 a month on average. Compare and contrast that to PSG. They may have struggled in Europe this campaign, but they have already won the Ligue 1 title, the French League Cup and the French Super Cup. Players at the club earn €2,500, £2,197 a month on average, a huge contrast to PSG's salaries. They confirmed a place in the final by beating fellow third-tier side Chambly in the semi-final. Neymar will be absent. They will still name a side that includes the likes of Mbappé, Verratti, Edinson Cavani and Angel Di Maria. Some people rate our chances of winning at about 1%, Les Herbiers captain Sébastien Flochon said. It would be the biggest upset of the last 20 years. The French Cup tends to throw up this sort of mismatched final with peculiar regularity. Les Herbiers are the fourth team from the third tier to reach the final since 1996. Nîmes, in that year, Amiens 2001, and Quevilly 2012 have all played in the climax of the competition. The two teams are exceptionally mismatched. PSG can call on the likes of Kylian Mbappé. Calais, of the 4th division, also played in it in 2000. They only lost to Nantes courtesy of a last-minute penalty. The route taken to the final by Les Herbiers also highlights the strange nature of the French Cup. They beat fellow third-tier side Chambly in the semi-finals, and have not played a single team from the top flight. There are few theories as to why this cup competition provides such success for teams from less vaunted divisions. Below the second tier, most teams are amateurs, which tends to level out the playing field if a favorable draw has been made. Les Herbiers only has a population of under 16,000, but 15,000 tickets have been snapped up. The strength of French academies also means that there are generally a significant number of talented footballers looking for work at the country's lesser-known teams every summer. Despite that, PSG are still 1-100 favorites for the game. Are there any reasons for Les Herbiers to be hopeful? One comes in the form of the coach, Stéphane Massala. The 41-year-old is known to be a fan of Juventus and has a good reputation in the game. He has forged a team with a notable short passing style. They also impressively turned around a 2-0 deficit against Laval on Friday to win 3-2, showing real spirit ahead of one of the more mentally taxing games the players will ever face. They managed to fight back from a 2-0 deficit on Friday last week to beat Laval 3-2. Stéphane Massala says his side have zero chance of winning, and wants them to hold PSG off. 1973 Leeds 0-1 Sunderland. FA Cup Leeds were the holders. Sunderland were in the second tier. A stunning display by goalkeeper Jimmy Montgomery helped Sunderland to a 1-0 victory. 1994 Sampdoria 6-1 Ancona. Coppa Italia. Ancona reached the final despite playing in the second division. They were thrashed by Sampdoria in the climax. 2000 Calais 1-2 Nantes. French Cup. Calais, of the 4th tier, reached the French Cup final in 2000. They were downed by a last-minute Antoine Sibierski penalty. 2004 Manchester United 3-0 Millwall. FA Cup. Second-tier Millwall reached the FA Cup final but were outplayed by United. Ruud van Nistelrooy scored twice. 2006 Hearts 1-1 Gretna 4-2 on penalties. Scottish Cup Gretna were in the second division but had come out of nowhere. They were only beaten by Hearts through penalty shootout. I'm stunned by my players' abilities to turn thing around, Masala said after that match. They are going to attack from everywhere and it will be a very unbalanced contest. If we manage to make them doubt, even just for a while, this final will be successful, I will be honest. We've zero chance of winning. The real question is to know how long we can hold off. A few seconds. Meh. A few minutes. Not bad. 1 hour. No, that's not planned. I just want us to look at Paris in the eyes. Les Herbiers have also been provided with perfect training facilities ahead of the game. They stayed at Clairefontaine, the country's national football centre, also known as the Castle, and Flochan took inspiration from his accommodation. I believe I have been staying in Antoine Griezmann's room. It's a dream come true. We are preparing for that final in ideal conditions. With all the history attached to this castle, we could not hope for a better place. Unai Emery, PSG's outgoing manager, is not taking the challenge lightly. It's a final, it's a title, it's the French Cup, he said. If they got to the final, they deserve it. The best way to show respect is to play to win. Respect or not, Les Herbiers will be stepping into a brave new world when they run out in front of 81,338 people at the Stade de France on Tuesday evening. Masala and his players should prepare for a long staring contest. Les Herbiers had a perfect place to prepare as they were invited to train at Clairefontaine. Outgoing PSG manager Unai Emery has called on his players to show Les Herbiers respect.